Good evening. It's Monday, July 21st at about 8:40 p.m. and this is the FairTV Commission regular meeting. And present here are is our production manager Luke Altieri, myself, Lee Camlet, Suzanne. How do I pronounce your last name? Because I always think it's Titel.
Well, what? It's normally, this is my work name.
Oh, okay.
My real name is Titel.
Titel, okay. And Pete Klein. So I'll call this meeting to order here. I don't really have any, report or comments. And with the absence of our Vice Chairperson, Paula Kokoza, I think we can move to Lee's approval of the June 2025 meeting.
So I make a motion that we approve the minutes of our special meeting of June 23rd, 2025.
Second it.
Call for a vote.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so the meeting passes. The meeting minutes are approved unanimously, and we can move into where we left off, which I have a feeling I know where we left off, but Luke, I'm sorry, it says 2020, it says new product purchases, but I think as part of your report where we're on to is talking about our request into David Becker and was it Christine?
Yeah, Christine Brown. Neither of them answered.
Right.
I reached out. I've actually sent David Becker other additional emails and he hasn't responded to any of them.
Was that before a week ago or?
Yeah, so that was right after the meeting. I emailed him,
right.
And then actually last week I emailed him about something different, but he hasn't gotten back to either of them.
Can you follow up with Jennifer and see Jen Carpenter and see if she can help route? Because I don't recall her being copied on that note. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. And I did reach out to Dave Kelly. Because even though like he kind of oversees our funds and everything kind of goes through the IT budget. So it's like, even though Fair TV has its own budget, like we go through him for purchasing and everything. So
okay.
So I asked him about the carryover money. He said he was going to check with the CFO who was out last week. And he said he thinks he was back today or tomorrow.
Isn't the CFO David Becker?
No, I think it's Tom Harris.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that's a great route to go for budget approvals. I mean, I've never really engaged Dave on anything.
Well, the only reason I mentioned it to him because last year he was the one. So he was the one that he told me about the carryover money. So they reached out to him and said that Fair TV has X amount, and then he reached out to me. So I don't know.
Right. I thought we engaged Frank in all these things.
Yeah, we did, but Frank's gone now, I think.
Right, but who do you remember the woman who joined me and you?
That's Michelle Cardente.
Yeah, wasn't she helpful to us?
Yeah, I think so. I could reach out to her and find out. Because I looked back at the old email and the carryover money was like the note that we had to send the Board of Finance. That was due August. I think it was like mid-August. And then they voted.
All right. I'm just a little reluctant given Dave's role in IT and just, setting up a good, kind of a good and timely way to get, answers from people who ideally should be responding to us.
Yeah.
But I would engage either Jen and or Michelle, because I think her involvement was sort of premised the last time on.
Yeah, I could email Michelle, Jen, and then the person who sent it last year was Caitlin Bossy. I could CC her too, just kind of tie her in because I know she sent the email last year about the
right. Just make sure you don't sort of leave it out there where everybody's waiting for one person to reply.
No, yeah, of course.
So, I have a feeling you can get a, a quick answer from Jen.
Yeah,
And then, go from there. But,
Yeah.
why don't you follow up with that? Because obviously this is about, whether we can allocate a small, bonus toward a couple of, people who've loyally and very, expediently served Fair TV in the town, right?
yep, exactly. And I guess I'll double check and because again, last year they mentioned the carryover money, so I'm assuming that we could do it again because it looks like I looked back at the old email and Caitlin sent it to like a large group of people. So I'm
Well,
hoping,
then, yeah, I mean, then she probably is a great person to start with, and you could even
Yeah.
reply to her note,
yeah,
just to
that's
say,
what I was
hey,
gonna do. I was gonna
Okay.
circle back to the old email from last year.
okay, well, I'm sure you got a good handle on it, but anyway, I don't want to, take away your time here. Just,
Yeah, no, I
it's an overall report, so.
Um, but yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, nothing really. I mean, I know and this, I'm just kind of touching the next thing, but the CAC money, if we'll see what we get with that. Hopefully, we get the same money that we got last year because I started thinking of some equipment that we could buy to upgrade for this year. Because I think last year we got the money beginning of September, so we'll see when that gets distributed this year.
Well, assuming, and that's sort of the next order of new business,
Yeah.
but.
Oh
but
yeah.
Not assuming that my understanding from Suzanne and Pete is like nothing's coming from there imminently. So we should probably act as if we don't have any money
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
from CAC and figure out like, what do we need to get us through? And do we have any discretionary budget within the confines of a regular budget to, pay for that?
Yeah.
Do we?
I mean, it depends. Like for some of the equipment, probably not. But it's not immediate need of replacing. You know what I mean? It's just some equipment's a little bit older and it would be nice to get it up to date. But it's nothing that needs to be done immediately. So if the grant money comes through, great. If not, we could put in the budget for next year.
Okay. Any other, part of your report? You want to touch on anything with recent meetings or?
Um, not really. Everything's been, knock on wood, been going pretty smooth. It's the, everyone's working well and everything's going with no hiccups.
What about the CRC meetings?
Yeah, so I was gonna touch on that because I know that was the next. I wasn't sure if that was mine or the next.
Yeah, no, that's all you.
All right, so basically what happened was in I think May there was 2 Board of Selectmen meetings that were concerning the CRC, the Charter Revision Committee. And I guess it happens once every 10 years and there's special public hearings about that. So Jen Carpenter reached out and asked if we could cover it. Obviously, because it was a Board of Selectmen meeting, we covered it. So there was a meeting. She said there was maybe 5 or 6 meetings that have to go along with this. Basically, Board of Selectmen makes the recommendation to CRC. CRC meets on their own, and then they kind of come to agreement for what whether approve or deny the changes. So there was a meeting 2 weeks ago that was just the CRC to discuss the changes. We weren't asked to cover that. We didn't cover it, but it was on Zoom, so it was public, and then it got posted to the town's archive YouTube channel after the fact, which any meeting that we don't cover, that's where it goes. If it's on Zoom, it gets recorded and put on the town's archive station channel. So last week it was the CRC and they had the Board of Selectmen on for a little bit. So I reached out to Jen Carpenter. I asked her, I said, is this one of those meetings that you want us to cover like we did in the past in May? Or is this something that, I wasn't sure. So I reached out to her. She said she wasn't sure. So she reached out to the CRC head since it was their meeting. They took them about a week or so to get back. And maybe 3 or 4 emails, they told me, we don't want it live streamed, leave it as is, please. They were pretty adamant about that. I mean, like, if I could tell the tone over the email, they didn't want any of our involvement in the meeting. So I said, okay, you know, I checked with them 3 times to be sure. I explained the whole live stream process, and they said, no, please leave it as is. We like to do what we do. So after that happened, Chelsea went to the town for something else. She went to town hall for like a little bit, and they asked her about, you know, you guys covering the meeting. And she said, you know, no, because I explained the whole situation because I had them both on the schedule because, you know, the staffers need at least a week's notice so they could, you know, schedule around the meetings. So I had them on just in case, kind of. And then I heard back from the CRC. They said, don't live stream it. So I said, okay, you know, no, we're not covering it tonight. So just leave it. And then I guess Christine Vitale heard that we weren't live streaming it. And then kind of a big ordeal went down. And then she asked Chelsea, you know, at 6 o'clock, the meeting started at 6. She asked about, you know, live streaming and all that. And I said, well, I already called off the producer for the night. I got a phone call at 6, I think it was 6:05. They called me. And I said, well, it takes at least an hour to get everything up and running. You know, if it was on the schedule, it takes an hour. Right. And I was out with my family, so I wasn't even home to set everything up or, you know. So long story short, they were upset, but I think it was more upset with the head of CRC because he said no, even though Christine thought it should have been. So that it was kind of on them. I explained the whole situation, saying that, you know, we don't cover CRC. It's not one of the charter boards that we do, but, you know, in the past, we've done it as exception because Jen Carpenter asked for it because there's a board of selectmen, you know, meeting. So I sent the email, I CC'd Dave on it just so he was aware. I can forward it to you guys too if you want. But no one never got back. And like I said, Chelsea was there because she was doing something else at the town to drop something off. And they grabbed her and she explained everything kind of. And she said, you know, they were more upset that the head of the CRC called it off or, you know, didn't ask for it to be live streamed than mad at us because, you know, we checked 3 or 4 times and, you know, we're adamantly told not to. So
but there's no resolution about whether or not going forward they're going to be covered or live streamed, right?
Well, no, because technically they never were. That's the thing.
Right.
Never were unless it was like a board of selectmen one where they were on or Jen explicitly asked us to live stream it. So it wasn't like something that we normally cover and we said, no, we're not going to do it. I mean, I told Jen, I said, we're willing to do it. I have the staffers ready to work. I just need to go ahead because it's not one of our charter meetings. So I just can't just say, all right, we're taking over the meeting without their approval, you know. So I don't know. It was at the time it was a little crazy, but I mean, I think like I said, I think the biggest issue was Christine Vitale thought it was live streamed because all the board selectmen meetings are live streamed, and then the CRC ones aren't. So I think that's where the confusion was, and then they were probably upset with Chris. His name was, who said, you know, don't live stream it. So I don't know. So that's long story long. Sorry.
Well, it sounds like we did everything right, so.
Yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
explained. I sent I mean, pretty lengthy email just explaining that, you know, CRC is not one of the charter meetings. I mean, we make an exception at times if it's at request of Jen or, you know, first selectman or whatever, whoever it may be. But again, I know we were explicitly told not to by the head, the chair. So it's, you know, and we're kind of out of our hands there.
Yeah, I mean, I replied to your note and said, thanks for following the right protocol. And, you know, if you see this coming, particularly ahead of it, let's just get back in front of it. So there's no question.
Yeah, and that's why I reached out like about once I heard about the meeting. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Reached out to Jen and said, is this one of the ones in this series of meetings that needs to be covered? And she said, I'm not sure because the last one, it wasn't covered. It didn't need to be covered. So she said I'll default to Chris, the chair of the CRC, and then
Right.
that's him, and then actually him and another commissioner. They both said just leave it as is. Basically don't interfere. So I said okay.
Right. And, we've requested from the town, we've told the town, years ago that if someone has something, a request for us, it's got to come a month out to be seriously considered. So obviously, we could have the discussion and potential vote at a meeting like this. So quite simply, we don't have otherwise we'd be, it hasn't happened in a while, but that's the long story short, is that unless we have a meeting coming up, it can't even be on our radar.
Yeah, and then like I said, there's times where we make an exception if it's an important meeting where it's it needs to be covered immediately. I mean, but again, I mean, I reached out to Jen because she's usually the one that would ask, and she again she defaulted to the CRC head, so clearly she gave him the permission to answer, so and he said no.
Okay.
And like I said, we were glad to cover it. I had the staffers ready to go. It's just I'm not gonna, it's not my position to overstep a commission that we're not, chartered to cover, and then just take over. And it wasn't on the agenda that we are gonna live stream it. So, like again, it wasn't expected. It wasn't like it was expected, and we said no. It was like the opposite almost,
Okay. Thanks for that. Anyone
Yeah.
have any other comments? Okay. So we'll move on to new business. And dare I ask, Peter, I think you were in the throes of this one. Did anything come of the CAC?
No, I was not involved in the last meeting. Was that supposed to be a dinner that was in person or something? That's what I remember.
Yeah, it was a dinner. I don't even think, did they have an agenda? I think it was just social.
I thought they changed it then to a Zoom link, or am I imagining things?
I don't know. That's
Maybe the previous meeting was like that, but
maybe they canceled it. I don't know.
Check your credit card. Maybe they had dinner and charged it to you.
Yeah. I don't know when the next one is. The next
Today, probably.
Maybe you have to follow up with Mary. I can't recall her name, but
yeah.
Marlene, right? I think
Marlene. Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know.
Marlene.
Silverman, Silverstein, or something.
Yeah. All right. I don't think we need to. If you can just check in.
Key. Okay.
And one of you try and have an online presence there. Obviously, if it's in person only, that's silly. But nothing we can really do about it. Or just ask straight up, is there going to be any funding, available?
I could always email her too, to be honest. I mean, at this point, because it was I think it was first week of September we got the check last time, so I might just straight up ask and say, hey,
sure.
Are we going to have funding again?
They can't deny you the money. The money's in the state statute.
Yeah.
So it's not even possible. for
Right.
them to do-
They
to
can't, it might be in state statute, but if we're not represented, I don't trust that we wouldn't be left out.
Right.
Right, that's a possibility. Plus, they
Right.
might change the formula just like they did 2 years ago.
Right.
So, yeah, we do want representation.
All right. Well, just Luke, once you get some sort of clarity one way or the other, you can let us all know, or let Suzanne and Pete know.
Yeah,
whatever.
I'll email her tomorrow and ask and see if, you know, if there's any, what the basic procedure.
Yeah, just say we have big decisions that are impacted by
Yeah.
by that, because it's true.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess, at one point I thought we were gonna, I mean, it still may happen because it's so fresh, but I wasn't sure if anybody would ask, if there was anything video wise, that would be, we could contribute, a bill, whether it was a family or town request. We store all this video, but I imagine the video we have is really of him in meeting, presiding over meetings, right?
Yeah.
Opening, calling and doing things of that like, but you haven't heard anything to that end?
No. Yeah, no requests have come through. I'm sure obviously it's a touchy subject, so I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
And like I said, like you said, any content that we would have of him is just him talking at a meeting or,
Yeah.
um,
Well, if you hear anything just before we, give a shotgun response, let's just treat that one.
yeah,
With the care and concern.
yeah, of course.
This might be totally irrelevant here, but I just was anticipating that kind of request could come from someone.
Yeah, no, I had the same thought, but again, it's one of those things where it's
Right.
tough, It's
Yeah, I mean, if the family wanted to do something and wanted some clips of him, I'm sure we could be accommodating, but if there's no request, then there's nothing for us to
yeah,
actively discuss right here, right now.
gotcha.
Lee, anything from your end?
No,
Pete?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Suzanne?
No.
I'm sorry, Luke, did you say there might be another CRC meeting coming up, or there won't be? I mean, August.
They don't post, it's weird, they don't post them on the agenda right away, like the calendars. It's usually like last minute they post them, and then again, if we don't cover it, they don't really tell us.
Mhm.
But I know, at least from Jen, she was saying that they have, I think it's these two meetings they just had, and then they have one final one, I think. Unless that was the final one. Then it's just like some internal CRC meetings discussing changes, I think, up until September or November. It's like a whole drawn out process, I guess. But I don't see anything on the calendar for this month at least.
Okay. Well, traditionally, this is one of the quieter months of the year, because obviously a lot of people are on vacation. I think, if I'm correct, zoning and a couple other committees don't even meet until September.
Yeah, the Board of Finance, they don't meet until September, and obviously Board of Ed.
Board of Ed, right?
Planning and Zoning and RTM, they still meet.
Okay.
And Board of Selectmen, obviously.
Luke, has there been a request to cover in any way the memorial service on Friday for Bill Gerber?
There hasn't been. I did hear them announce that, but that was announced a couple of days ago.
Well, I'm wondering if it's going to be in a location at Sacred Heart that already is wired and set up.
Yeah, I think it's at least I looked online. It was the
Put that down.
hockey arena, or
Yeah, I'm sure that they have it all wired up.
yeah.
Is that for the public?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, Friday morning.
what time is that? I missed the
10
announcement.
or 11, I can't remember. I think it's
I
10.
think it's 10.
Sacred Heart.
Okay. Well, I have to figure if we're on Monday night,
Yeah,
the
it was
Sacred Heart has a robust,
posted. It was posted 3 days ago.
right? Well, Sacred Heart has a robust film and production program.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would be leery of getting involved in anything at this point without, some heads up. Even though, we'd be happy to try and help, that's late.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, Sacred Heart has their own thing, so maybe
Yeah.
if they might even, I mean, they might have asked them to do it because it's already set up for them. And
Well, yeah, it makes sense. Although it's summertime, who knows? But I don't suggest we go looking for things that aren't, that haven't been asked of us. Okay, well, I said this last time, but so I won't say it again. But I mean, it's things change obviously on a dime. But Luke, you're going to follow up. It's hard to imagine there would be a critical need for a meeting in August, but you're going to follow up with Marlene from the CAC.
yeah,
And also with Kristen regarding carryover budget, even though you've asked Dave Kelly.
yeah.
And
I think his answer was kind of questionable, so I don't know if
yeah, I think I would suggest you just try and go to the folks who've helped us specifically with this in the past and go from there.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, I didn't mean to rush anyone or forget about anyone here, but it's 9:05, and if there's no further comments or business, I'll make a.
Can I just say, if there is a meeting on the 18th of August, I won't be there.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, somebody else will have to do notes.
Suzanne or Pete, do you have a conflict?
I'm here on the 18th. I'm gone the week before, I think.
And no surprise, I guess, given how I stated earlier in the meeting. But yeah, I think I am actually on the road again on the 18th.
Well, so thanks for calling into these. I know when someone's traveling, it's even less ideal.
Well,
so I hope I'm not pulling you from any fun dinner plans or other shenanigans.
no, it's all good. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, why don't you and just Luke, see if you can figure out if your Zoom link works. Great. If not, we'll just keep this going. And if we have if Suzanne has a conflict or something, then we'll just revert to WebEx for that meeting. But hopefully, Pete, you can borrow that link and use it for going forward.
Yeah, Luke, do you have a day between Wednesday and Friday that are, what is one day better than another for you?
I'm kind of busy, but I could do maybe like Wednesday late, like 8:30 or 9. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if that works for you,
I'll be out till about 8, and then same thing with Thursday and Friday.
All right. I mean, we've got about a month or so until the next meeting, right?
Yeah.
So
whatever works. I mean, like I said, we could always figure out a day we have in a month.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll check in with you. I'll send you an email directly or text or something, and we'll get it sorted out.
Yep. Sounds good.
Good.
Okay. All right. Well, Lee, if you're not at the next
Damn, he needs water.
meeting, then should we wait till September to ratify the notes of this meeting and someone else will track the next one?
Well, no, if you meet on the 18th, somebody else can
because that's right, because you're sending it out.
Make the minutes and vote on the last meeting.
Yeah, because it's obviously what you sent out.
Yeah, I just use it as a template for the next meeting.
Okay.
Water.
All right. So yeah, we just need to jot down a few notes in the next one, and cover it if there is one. So, all right, I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting for July 21st, 2025, FairTV.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot, Luke, and
Yep.
hope you have a nice evening and enjoy the summer, precious days of summer.
Yeah, definitely. You guys too.